And the chapter we are going to revise today is your third chapter of book Hornbill, that is Discovering Tut. The saga continues. Saga means a very long story. It's written by A.R. Williams. So, first of all, let's know about the author. A.R. Williams, or Anne Williams, is a former senior writer for National Geographic magazine and online news. Her specialization is in the field of archaeology, about which she writes features about places varying from Egypt to as far as Alaska. So she writes about the places. These appear as a monthly piece for the Ancient Worlds section of the National Geographic magazine. She also writes about any new discoveries that take place. So, introduction of the chapter. Discovering Tut, the saga continues, gives an insight into the mystery surrounding the life and death of Tutankhamun, the last teenage ruler of the powerful Pharaoh dynasty that had ruled Egypt for centuries. He was the last of his family's line, and his funeral brought an end to this powerful dynasty. Not much is known about his family. So King Tut belonged to a pharaoh dynasty of Egypt that ruled for many years. He was the last of his family's line, and when he died, the whole dynasty died. King Tut's mummy was one of the first mummies to be taken for a CT scan. As the mummy of the king was glided for performing a CT scan, angry winds stirred and dark clouds covered the stars. It is a kind of belief in some people that if you disturb a mummy, the mummy takes revenge. So, somewhere in the chapter, we have seen a few lines about this also. That when King Tut's mummy was taken out for a CT scan, the nature suddenly got changed. Angry winds started moving and dark clouds started covering the stars. His scan was being done to unearth, open the mysteries that had surrounded his death. Nobody knew about his death, reason why he died, how he died. Tourists had lined to pay their respects to the mummy of the famous Egyptian king Tutankhamun and made speculations, hints about his untimely death. They all had their own doubts for his death. Somebody said it could be a murder, some said it could be a natural death, and many other had some other beliefs. His mummy was in a very bad state, according to Zahi Hawass, Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities. He said the mummy was in a very bad state. King Tut's tomb was first discovered in 1922 by Howard Carter, and this state was due to Howard Carter, who discovered the mummy for the very first time in 1922. Howard Carter was a British archaeologist. Tut was found buried with numerous funerary treasures. At that time, treasures were kept with the mummies in a coffin made of pure gold. He was a king, so he was very rich. The treasures found included precious collars, inlaid necklaces, bracelets, rings, amulets, a ceremonial apron, sandals, and sheaths for his fingers and toes. Sheaths, protective shields. So all these kind of treasures were tomb, buried in tomb with Tut. These treasures are till date the richest royal collections ever found. In any mummy, this rich treasure had not been found. Some everyday items considered to be needed in the afterlife. So these kind of people believed in afterlife. They thought that after death they would go to some other world, they would live there, and they would need some kind of things. So with this belief, they used to bury all these kind of things with the body, or the mummy, you can say, like board games, bronze razor, linen undergarments, cases of food and wine were also found in the treasure. This revealed that the ancient Egyptians believed in the idea of resurrection and hoped to take their riches with them. Resurrection means reviving. So let's know about Carter's investigation. Carter investigated the three nested coffins. It is the coffin of King Tut. There were three layers. In the first, a shroud adorned with garlands of willow and olive leaves, wild celery, lotus petals, and cornflowers were found. This gave vague clear evidence that the death might have taken place in the month of March or April. Looking at the variety of the flowers, it is assumed that it could be the month of his death. Carter faced difficulty in extracting the mummy of the king out of the coffin because to preserve the dead body, some resins are the body is covered with some resins, and those resins were actually so hardened up due to the uh, time that the body was impossible to take out of the coffin. The ritual resins had hardened, resulting in cementing of Tut to the bottom of the solid gold coffin. So the mummy was actually cemented with the coffin. It was impossible for Carter to take the mummy out of the coffin. Though Carter unsuccessfully tried to use the sun to loosen the resins, there was no other way left to separate the mummy from the adornments that than to chisel it away. So Carter used sunlight. He thought that if he would keep the mummy out in the sunlight, the resins would melt away, but it did not happen. And then he only had one thing, and that was that he would separate the adornments, the decorative items Tut was wearing at that time, from the body, and then he would have to chisel away the mummy, separate the mummy into parts. Its head its head had to be removed, and the major joints had to be detached. The only ground for Carter to defend himself for chiseling, and his, you can say, stand for defending him why he chiseled away the mummy, he said that was that thieves would have ripped the body apart to rob the gold. If he would not have done that, his treasure could have been stolen by the thieves if he had not chiseled it. As the archaeology changed with the advent of time, arrival of time, it focused more on details of life and mysteries of death than on treasures. Earlier, archaeology was quite interested in the treasures found, but now it's all about the life and death and living style of the people of the previous times. Some 40 years after Carter's discovery in 1922, after some 40 years, in 1968, a startling fact was revealed in the discovery of anatomy professor who had X-rayed the mummy. So in 1968, an anatomy professor X-rayed the mummy, and he said he claimed that the breastbone and the front ribs of the mummy were missing. Tut's family history. Amenhotep III, Tut's father or grandfather, it's not clear, ruled for almost 4 decades during the 18th dynasty, almost for 40 years, golden age. He was succeeded by his son Amenhotep IV, who pioneered who led one of the odd periods in the history of ancient Egypt. So for Amenhotep IV, a question is usually asked: why is he said to be an odd person, or why did he start then a strange period? He made some drastic and unpleasant changes. He promoted the worship of the Aten, the sun disk, and changed his name to Akhenaten. From Amun, he changed his god to Aten. He moved the religious capital to the new city of Akhenaten. He made some drastic, unpleasant changes. He destroyed the images and temples of Amun, a major god which was followed previously before Amenhotep IV. Everybody used to follow this god, worship this god Amun, but he changed it from Amun to Aten. After his demise, his death, a ruler named Smenkhkare reigned for a brief time. He was another ruler, but for a very short time. Finally, Tutankhaten, the name was later changed to Tutankhamun, took the throne and restored the old order destroyed by his predecessors. So, Amenhotep IV, who changed from Amun to Aten, was again changed by Tut, and he changed his name from Tutankhaten to Tutankhamun. Only last four letters Aten and Amun are changed. He reigned for about 9 years. So Tut ruled for 9 years. Tutankhamun, or King Tut as he is widely known today, died as a teenage pharaoh. Although he ruled for 9 years, but when he died, he was only a teenage ancient Egyptian king and was buried laden with gold. Full of gold, he was buried. He was the last successor of the family of rulers who had ruled Egypt for centuries. His unexpected demise was a big event, and the reasons for his death remained unclear. Nobody knew about the reason of his death. Two of the biggest questions are still unanswered about him: how did he die, and how old was he at the time of his death? In the year 2005, more than 3,300 years after his death, King Tut's mummy became one of the first mummies to undergo a CT scan. In death as in life, moving regally ahead of his countrymen. How this line is very important for a 6 mark question, that he was ahead of his countrymen in life and in death. In life also, he became a king at a very early age. His countrymen could not think over it, and he died at a very young age. And he was among the first mummies to be scanned. So again, he was ahead of many people. The CT scan was led by Zahi Hawass and done with a portable CT machine. So a CT scan was done now. The scan came up with new clues about his life and death. It provided precise, very minute, each and every detail for an accurate forensic reconstruction of King Tut. So a kind of reconstruction of King Tut's body was there on the screen. Due to sand in the cooler fan of the CT machine, they had to use 2 plastic fans to complete the scanning process. So somewhere the scanning was disturbed because the cooler fan was out of order. And some people again believed it was the curse of Pharaoh, curse of Tut. Some people who had this kind of belief, they also thought so. Tut's body was examined over a computer screen with the help of the CT scan. It showed a grey head, neck vertebrae, a hand, several images of the rib cage, and a transection of the skull. So every body part was shown there, twisted and turned into every angle on the screen. After collecting the data for scan, the pharaoh was sent back to the place he belonged, that is, his coffin. So after the CT scan was done, the King Tut was again kept into his coffin. It was a relief for Zahi Hawass as nothing had gone seriously wrong with the mummy. Mummy was all okay. No front ribs were missing, no breastbone was missing, no treasure was missing. Especially his body was all okay. After their observations, when they left, the wind had stopped and the surrounding came to a deathly silence. Before the CT scan, the winds were moving in a very you can say quick speed. It was all very dark with clouds, but as soon as the mummy was kept back into the coffin, the weather became silent. In the sky just above the entrance to Tut's tomb stood Orion, the constellation also called by the Egyptians as the soul of Osiris. So Tut's tomb's second layer was about a god Orion. His picture was there. This Orion is said to be a constellation, and it is also called to be the soul of Osiris, the god of afterlife, watching over the boy king. So this was the front of the coffin. This was your chapter, and as you know, your UTs are going to be started from Monday onwards. MCQs will be asked, so go through the whole text, and if you find any difficulty, I am here to help you. Have a good day.